Hi, this is Orsina Smith, the conductor of the Philharmonic Orchestra of Indianapolis. On Sunday, May the 21st at the Pike Performing Arts Center at 3 p.m., the Philharmonic Orchestra of Indianapolis will feature a concert entitled A Pleasant Afternoon Pursuing Dreams. Featured on that program will be a number of works, culminating with Aaron Copland's Appalachian Spring. Also on the program will be a fairly new work by Eliza Brown entitled Filaments, which features our concertmaster, John Johnson. To discuss with you the Filaments is composer Eliza Brown.
Hi, I'm Eliza Brown. I'm the composer of Filaments. I am looking forward to the Philharmonic's performance of this piece and hope to see you there. Filaments is actually based on two existing works of art, and one of them is Virginia Woolf's novel, The Waves. There's a little scene in The Waves where one of the multiple narrative voices from whose perspective we see the events of the novel is overhearing a conversation late at night, and they can't see the people having the conversation, and they just hear muffled voices. It sounds like someone's crying. And from this, they extrapolate that a relationship has ended. And so Filaments at its heart is really about the phenomenon that this moment illustrates, which is the human tendency to create meaning and create stories out of fragmentary information that intrigues us. And so I used this Virginia Woolf moment and set that text in an earlier piece for mezzo-soprano and ensemble. And so that's the second work of art that Filaments comes from, is this earlier vocal work. And so in Filaments, the solo violin part has some aspects that are directly taken from the mezzo-soprano line in the previous piece, but then it also has some moments where the mezzo-soprano line has been sort of subsumed into the orchestra, and the violin gets to do things that are sort of particularly violin-y, things that the violin is really good at doing. But it still is sort of trying to get at this same idea and mood of sort of being let in on this fragmentary, mysterious information and trying to spin a story out of it that makes sense to you. So I hope you enjoy Filaments.
So one of the great parts about working with contemporary music and modern pieces is that the composers are still alive, and we're able to work with them to figure out how they came up with the piece and what the inspiration was behind them. So in our work prepping Eliza Brown's piece Filaments, we were able to talk with the composer. She was able to sit in on a few rehearsals and to help the orchestra kind of gain the picture that she had in her mind. You know, there's sometimes a disconnect between the way that the performers think that it should go and the way the composer intended it should go, and that's the cool part about music. So when I was first looking at the solo part for preparation, I was really kind of delving into the dynamic structure that she had in her mind. And what I wasn't realizing is that she had a really clear image for this piece. And the opening is sort of someone sitting and, out at night maybe, and they're overhearing a conversation. And it's soft, it's in the background, it's calm. But then all of a sudden the conversation gets loud, almost violent in the middle. And that is something that painted a whole new picture for me. So it's really incredible that we get to work with Eliza on this piece. And you'll notice that after the big emotional breakdown, the strings kind of filter off into the distance as we relax back down from the commotion, but the solo violin still has these sort of interjections, these small comments, almost afterthoughts that are still like filling the space as we slowly kind of fade away from the picture.
Thank you, Eliza Brown and John Johnson. Once again, this is the Philharmonic Orchestra of Indianapolis' concert on May the 21st at 3 p.m. entitled A Pleasant Afternoon Pursuing Dreams. Tickets can be found at philharmonicindy.org or at the box office at the Pike Performing Arts Center.